everybody, welcome to this video. My name is Becca and I'm going to be talking about 50 things that I don't buy as a minimalist or a minimalistic kind of person. With everything feeling like it's getting more and more expensive, whether that be housing prices or petrol or food, and it's not feeling like anybody's wages are increasing and this gap just seems to be growing and growing, it's more important now than ever to be a little more frugal and to maybe learn a few more ways to save some money and to look at what you need versus maybe what you want right now. Also, me saying that I don't buy these things doesn't mean that I will never ever buy these things. It's just a fun list that I came up with of things that we don't buy right now that a lot of people do. I totally understand that it's very life situational, so the things that I buy right now might look very different than a family that has 6 kids or just a single person. Basically, me saying all of this is just to say that I'm not judging you if you buy every single one of these things, and I'm sure that I buy a lot of things that are unnecessary or wasteful, but I know that what I purchase brings a lot of joy into my life and that's all that I need. But just hoping to bring about a little more mindfulness because I know that it helps me to have a cleaner and more organized house. It helps me to save a lot of money and it's also just a lot less wasteful. So let's go into this list. Also, it's a very long list. It's 50 whole things and so it's going to be going through it pretty quickly. And yeah, let's just get right into number 1, which is a strange one. We don't ever buy toilet paper. So when we were still in the US, we got hooked on bidets, and once you go bidet, you never go back because it is so much nicer. And so yeah, we just use a bidet to clean ourselves, and then we use cloth wipes. We do have a few rolls of toilet paper in the bathroom for when guests come over because that's what's expected, but we don't have to buy toilet paper except like maybe once every 3 years or something. Paper towels is another thing. I love using cloth towels. I think they absorb better, they clean better, they wipe up everything better, and then it's cool because you can reuse them. Saves you a lot of money. Ziploc bags. So we use silicone bags for most of our storage needs along with Tupperwares, but when we do get Ziploc bags from friends like giving us things, then I will wash them and reuse them until they are completely dead, and then I will throw them away. But other than that, I don't ever buy them. Any kind of single-use plastic plates or utensils, I just use the real things. It seems to serve me just fine. Single-use plastic water bottles, we just use our metal ones. They're a great alternative and you don't have to buy expensive water bottles all the time. So you'll probably notice a theme through this is that a lot of single-use items I don't like to buy because there are so many other great alternatives out there these days that, again, it's just less wasteful and saves you a lot of money. Next is Q-tips. So when I was in school, I was studying to be an audiologist and they pretty much every semester we're like, never put Q-tips in your ears. It says it on the box, so if you don't put Q-tips in your ears, I don't see much of a purpose to buy them. So I haven't bought Q-tips in a very, very long time. Next up is deodorant. I've talked about this before, but I make my own homemade deodorant. It works really well for me and it saves me a lot of money. Fancy soaps. So this is one of those where I love going to other people's houses and using their fancy soaps, but I just don't see the purpose in buying my own. Like, I like to make my own homemade soap bars, and so we use those to wash our hands and our bodies when we're showering. Other than that, we have some eco-friendly, like really nice fragrance-free dish soap and laundry soap, and that's the only soap that we have in our home. No fancy pump bottles that smell really nice. This next one is a big one. I think it's makeup. I have had so many family and friends try to show me how to use makeup, and I love it when they do it on me, but I can't be bothered. And I'm kind of glad about it because it is so expensive, it's so much work, and you're gonna notice something in this video. I'm a very lazy person, so the idea of having to put on makeup every single day and take it off every single day doesn't work for me. So one of the most life-changing purchases I ever made was a menstrual cup. If you're still using tampons, you gotta make the switch. They last so much longer in your body and they're so much less expensive. You buy one, it lasts you for years, and then you don't have to buy tampons or worry about them anymore. Same thing with pads. I bought some reusable pads. I use them all the time. They work just fine. Next up is nail polish. So I am a very natural person. I like my nails to be nice and clean and fresh. That didn't focus on my nails at all, but I mean, they're not anything fancy anyways. I can't be bothered to get my nails painted, and I don't know, they chip in just a couple of days when I do them at home. I don't like how that looks, and then I hate that I have to be bothered to take it off. Loofahs. So I don't know. We just use our hands and soap and wash our bodies that way. If you want something to scrub your body with more, just use a cloth. And then you're not having to repurchase a plastic scrubby all the time. Next is razors. So I don't know. I got a pack of razors quite some time ago. I'm talking years, and it has lasted me this whole time. I will make a razor last for like a year, sometimes 2 years before I throw it away. It's a metal razor. Like, I feel like it doesn't go dull that fast. Maybe I don't shave my legs enough. I don't know. But unless it's like actually rusting or something, I find that it still shaves my legs just fine. I don't really understand it when people throw them away after like a month because they're a little more dull. I don't know. Next is cleaners. So I'm always impressed when I go to other people's houses and they have like whole caddies under their sink. Like, they have Windex, they have Lysol sprays, they have multi-purpose cleaners, and I don't even know other kind of cleaners. So the only kind of cleaner that I buy is a toilet bowl cleaner. Other than that, I just use water and a cloth. My windows, my mirrors, if I'm wiping the table or the counters, like obviously I'll get a different cloth for these different purposes. I usually just use a little bit of water and the cloth and some elbow grease. But I think it cleans my home just fine. I'm not bringing all these different bottles and chemicals into my house. It's just very minimal. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong in thinking that that's enough. I know a lot of other people also enjoy making their own cleaners with like vinegar or orange peels or stuff like that. That sounds lovely, but again, I can't be bothered. Dryer sheets. I don't buy dryer sheets because I don't have a dryer. Here in New Zealand, it's a little more common to not have a dryer and just to hang your clothes dry outside. So we don't buy any meat because we're vegetarian, and it saves us a lot of money, especially because the nicer meats that we should be buying are just so expensive. Ready-made foods. We like to cook a lot of our food from scratch, so we never really ever buy like frozen pizzas or anything like that. So next up is protein powders. I love to work out, but I don't see the purpose in a protein powder. I just think it's an ultra processed thing that I don't see the purpose of putting into my body. If I want to get more protein, I will do it through my diet. I will up my protein intake, and I find that I can get very adequate amounts from my food. So this one is kind of a cop out, but it's much alcohol. I will just buy it for social occasions. We don't drink it very often, and other than that, we just buy vodka to distill our vanilla in. That's it. So I have an almost 2-year-old, and he's potty trained now, but we bought less than 10 packs of diapers his whole life because we did cloth diapering and it worked really well for us. The only times that we ever bought diapers were when we were going away on trips, or for example, when we moved from the US to New Zealand, we bought a pack of diapers for that. Along with that are disposable wipes. So one of the best things that I did right before he was born, I made a lot of little flannel cloths and I sewed them all up with the intention of just using them for his little bum. But I've actually found that I grab them almost every single day to wipe up spills. I use them to clean my baseboards, my windows. Like, again, going with that, just cloth and water. I clean my whole house with those things, and you just wash them and they're fine to do whatever with the next day. I love them. Seriously, one of the best things I've ever done. Okay, this whole section is just a lot of baby stuff, but this next one is pre-packaged baby snacks. I find that for our meals, he eats what we eat, and then for snack time, sometimes I'll be ambitious and make like a big thing of muffins, and that will last several days, but a lot of the times he's just eating fruit with like nut butters or just nuts, or even a lot of times, like if he doesn't eat his whole breakfast, I'll set it aside for his snack time later on. I really hate that baby snacks are so expensive, and they're also just really wasteful because like you eat one little squeezer in 2 seconds and then that whole piece of plastic is going into the garbage. And the same goes with new baby clothes. We get so many of our clothes and our toys from friends and family and just from secondhand shops that I feel like I've never felt the need to go out and buy something new. And then again, with baby gadgets, there are almost with no exceptions, the things that you're looking for, they're on Facebook Marketplace or at a secondhand shop. You don't have to buy them new. Also, with us, we moved around so much after he was born, we couldn't feasibly buy all of the baby gadgets like swings and bouncers and like jolly jumpers and all these different things. We couldn't lug it around with us every time we moved, and so we were just very minimalistic with what we bought for him from the beginning. I heard somewhere from the internet that there are enough jeans in this world that it could clothe every single person alive. And for some reason that really stuck in my head, and it seems so true. Like, you go to a secondhand shop and there are just racks and racks of all of these denim pants, and if you think about it, like, jeans last such a long time. They're such a sturdy material. And it's just insane to me because it all has to do with trends. So like one season skinny jeans are what's fashionable, and then the next season they have these like baggy mom jeans. So people will just donate or throw away their last season jeans even though they're still in pretty good condition, and then go out and buy some new jeans. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't even like wearing jeans personally. It's not very often that I do. I have a couple pairs. I like how they fit on my body, and that's all I need for me. If I do ever want another pair of jeans, I try to go to a thrift store and find them there. So the next one is soda. I feel like this is one of those things where if you don't partake of it for a very long time, you don't have a taste for it anymore. I would find it so much more enjoyable to be offered like a sparkling water instead of a Coke or something. It's just not something that we ever buy. So cut flowers. This is one of those things where I feel like I would love to buy them. Also like a trendy self-care kind of thing, I feel. There's a couple ways that I get around this. One, I buy potted plants because then you can tend to those. They grow for such a long time and they make your home more beautiful, and it's not like a weekly expense kind of thing. The other way I get around it is that I have flowers growing in my garden, and so when I want some fresh flowers, I can just go out there and clip them and bring them into my home. Books. So we never buy books anymore. I used to have a lot of them, but again, we moved so often and I got so tired of looking around these huge boxes of really heavy books, and I bought them for a reason. Like I loved the books, they changed me in some way, but it got to the point where I just got rid of all of them because it wasn't worth the clutter. So I love now not having the clutter of a bunch of books or like a bookcase where they just collect dust and I never read them again. I don't really see how it's worth it when there are so many other ways to enjoy your books. You have your Kindle that you can load everything onto. You can rent from a library. You can borrow from a friend. Audiobooks are another great option. I love listening to audiobooks as I go on walks. It's one of my favorite things. The exception to this whole thing is baby books. So my son has a lot of books and I am perfectly fine with that because he does use them every single day. He pulls them out, he reads them, he loves them, he's learning from them. It's completely different to me. Along with that are recipe books. First of all, because I feel like I don't have enough room in my kitchen to store them. And then second of all, if I want a new recipe or something exciting, then I just Google it and use a recipe from the internet. Like sometimes I am so tempted to buy a recipe book, but then I'm like, nah, that's what Google's for. A giant cloud just covered the sun. Ooh, weird. So the next thing are physical movies and DVDs. Again, kind of like with books, I hate the clutter of them. They're really expensive and there are so many other great options of getting your movies and shows and everything that I don't see the purpose in buying the actual physical copy to collect dust. Next up are apps. I never buy apps because there is almost always a free version of everything. And then the other thing too is that I don't ever buy games on my phone. One, because I don't want my son to think of a phone as a gaming device. I want him to think that it's a very functional work thing. There's the sun again. Along with that, I don't want to have games on there that I want to play because I feel like I'm on my phone way too much as it is, and I don't want something else that is trying to vie for my time and to keep me more distracted from my son. So the whole next section is fragrance-based things. I've read enough stuff that I'm really leery of fragrance, especially synthetic fragrance, and so I just try to steer clear as much as possible. So the first one is air fresheners for your car. I never would have bought those anyways. They just seem like kind of a waste of money to me, to put it in a rude way. Candles. Again, I would love to have candles, but I can never be bothered to go out and buy a candle and then bring it into my home and then actually light it to burn it. Like, I mean, I've had a couple of candles throughout my life and they just sit there. I never actually go through that last step of lighting it to enjoy it. So I stopped buying them a long time ago. Plus the really nice natural ones tend to be really expensive, so I just don't get them. Next is any kind of perfume or cologne. Again, I'm a very natural person. I just smell like what I smell like. I don't want to smell like anything from a bottle. So any kind of like aromatherapy or essential oils, diffusers, any of that kind of stuff. Like, I don't mind them in other people's homes. I actually kind of like it, but I don't buy them. The only exception is that I do buy some essential oils for our homemade soaps. Gym memberships. So I would actually love to have a gym membership, but I am far too cheap for that, and so I just don't ever buy them. Instead, I bought a yoga mat and some resistance bands and a few weights, and I just work out at home and I really enjoy it. Like, I feel like I get some really good workouts in. I like to make up my own kind of workouts, or I like to do YouTube videos, or just utilize a lot of free things like going on hikes or going swimming or going for a run. Like, all of those are free and outside, and they're great. So I'm always really impressed with people's medicine cabinets. The only thing that we have in our medicine cabinet is ibuprofen and baby Tylenol. I feel like a lot of other people have like Vicks vapor rubs and cough syrup and Midol and all these different things, and I feel like ibuprofen has gotten us through just fine. I mean, obviously if you need antibiotics, you go to the doctor for that. That's not something you just have. Next up is jewelry. So again, I'm lazy and not fashionable. So I have my wedding ring, and then other than that, I have my 3 little earrings that I just always leave in my ears, except when I take them out to clean them. And that's it. I don't swap anything out. It's just always the same. So, getting your nails and lashes done. That's just not me. Again, very natural. I think I would love going to a salon and like getting nice nails done, but I hate the idea of paying for something that will last for like a week or 2 and then you have to get it taken off, and just not for me. The next one is any kind of souvenir. So when I go on trips or traveling, I take a lot of pictures and I take a lot of videos, and I feel like that's enough for me. Sometimes I'll take a rock or something. Sometimes there are really good exceptions. Like when we went to Hawaii, we got a bottle opener that has a pineapple on it and it says Hawaii on it. And to me, like there are sometimes just these things that just scream at you like you need this. But I never go on a trip with the mindset like, oh, I have to bring a souvenir home to remember this trip. So sweet creams and lotions for like any part of my body. I feel like our bodies become really dependent on lotions and creams and stuff, and so I stopped using them a long time ago. I feel like your body goes through kind of an adjustment phase, but I haven't worn lotion for years on my hands or my feet. The same thing with chapstick. I feel like we all know those people that are addicted to their chapstick. Like they can't go without it. They'll go crazy, and they have their car chapstick, they have their purse chapstick, they have their work chapstick, they have their pocket chapstick. Like they have them tucked away everywhere because if they can't get to it when they need it, they go crazy. But yeah, any kind of like mask, like a face mask, a hair mask, whatever kind of mask, like not for me. Instead of like a face lotion, I just use a really simple oil. It seems to moisturize my face just fine. Next up is heels. I have less than 10 pairs of shoes to my name. I realized a long time ago that I can't walk in them. I kept buying them because I liked the way that they looked or whatever, but I realized that they really hurt my feet and I can't walk in them, so I looked really stupid anyways. And so I just got rid of all the heels that I did have, and I haven't bought them since. Best decision ever. Next up is mouthwash. So I read somewhere a long time ago that mouthwash is not actually even good for the microbiome in your mouth because of the alcohol and how dry it is, and so I don't even like it anyways. It's just not a good time. It burdens your mouth, it hurts, whatever. I just floss my teeth every single night and I brush twice a day. Seems to be working just fine for me. Next is any kind of already prepped food. So like already cut up fruit, bagged salads, hummus. I'm much more fine just spending a couple minutes at home prepping these things myself. Next is a lot of baking supplies. So like baking paper, we buy 1 box for like the whole year and it lasts the whole time. We never buy aluminum foil. We just always use our silicone baking mats to bake on. Works really well. And then we never buy saran wrap because I'll just cover things with either a lid or beeswax wraps or tea towels. Like all of those things work just fine. Seasonal decor. I'm not a big holiday person. Maybe this will change as my son grows up and gets more into holidays. I don't see myself ever really getting like things for Easter or kind of the smaller holidays. We do have a few things for Christmas, but they were gotten like several years ago and we just keep using them over and over because they're timeless and they are good quality things, so they stay in good condition. I really like the more minimal look anyways, and so yeah, we don't have like bins and bins and bins of seasonal decor. Next up is new furniture. Everything in our house almost is secondhand. The exception is our bed, and then this little bookcase thing down here. I actually hate it. It's from Kmart. Next is new clothes. Like, I never actually buy any of my clothes new because, again, you can find everything that you want from secondhand shops. We did it. Okay, this is number 15. So the last thing on my list is skincare. A while back, I was researching all this stuff online and I got convinced that I needed to buy all of these like fancier things for my face. It actually made my face explode. Like, I got such bad acne, and because of that, I was going out and buying extra like serums and stuff to put on my face, and it wasn't getting any better. And so I was getting really fed up because I didn't have these issues before. I thought it was like hormonal acne. It was a nightmare. Like, my face was just ugh. And then I started reading about people that were getting fed up with skincare, and then they just started washing their face with water. I started doing that and my face is like better than it has ever been before. And now I'm really mad that I went out and bought all this expensive fancy skincare that's supposed to do wonders for my face, and now I just don't buy any of it. Well, that is it. We made it through the whole list of things that I don't buy. If you have things that you don't buy that seems like a lot of people do, let me know in the comments, because I love brainstorming different things that I can be a little less wasteful on. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.